Alright, dudes, dudettes, check it out. I'm looking homeless already. It happens so fast. It happens so fast. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be rolling out some stuff today over at the old Tyler Nolan's house. So, we got some videos with Tyler over there. So you can check out his channel if you're already not checking out his channel. I'm going to repeat this in a second, but go check out Tyler's channel. We're going to throw all his stuff up there if you're not already following. I'm sure you are. But we got to treat some of his snakes. We're going to be doing that on his channel. But we are going to do a little tiny bit of, it's not a tour of Tyler Nolan's. We're going to do some of that later on, but we're going to take out the King Cobras today. So we are going to see Rusty and the other King Cobra there that he just got in, and I think you guys might enjoy it. So go ahead and check it out, my dudes. Boom. I think I will take that.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. 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 When it rains, it pours. Water's up to my chin. Won't stop fighting to the very end. Many men try to reach it.
Dudes, dudettes, you guys all know this guy.
Doodles and in between.
If you don't know this guy,
Hi.
I don't know where you came from, because
Hi,
most of
guys.
you came from his channel. But if you haven't, then go over to Tyler Nolan Tattoos. It is still Tyler Nolan Tattoos on there, right?
Yes.
Just Tyler Nolan. You can search Tyler Nolan.
Yeah, it all
Go over
comes
there.
up.
We're gonna post
Just go
it.
look it up.
We're gonna put the link.
I'm really
up.
easy to find.
We're gonna post it. We're gonna tag it, hyperlink it, all that stuff. So if you're not watching this guy, which would be baffling if you're not, go watch this guy. Go watch him. Watch this guy. Watch his channel.
But we're here playing with snakes.
We are. I'm gonna put you in this corner, and then I'm gonna put Pepe in that. I'm kidding. Come with us. So we got Duff, and we're gonna throw his information up too. If you want to point the camera at that guy right there. So we're gonna put old Duff Does Nature stuff up on there too. You can check his out. He's been helping Tyler for quite some time now, and
Yes.
actually got to do something yesterday. That was the first for you yesterday.
First King Cobra solo handle.
So check this out.
Pretty nice. Pretty nice.
We're gonna do a King Cobra episode because everybody always asks me to play with Cobras, and quite frankly right now I don't have any of my own. I've kept King Cobras pretty much my entire life, but we're dealing with the park and everything else and having all the shifts that we have. We don't have any right now, but we're gonna be building a venomous collection over the next couple of months and go back to what we used to do, which is basically like roots per se, which is snakes and lizards and reptiles.
Nice.
Mostly
Okay.
ones that can kill you. That's my favorite. So Tyler has been giving hours to the man of the hour over there. And if nobody gets what I'm saying here, in the state of Florida, you have to have 1,000 hours over a consecutive year working with every single family of animal that we have in here. So you would have lapids, your cobras and stuff. Do you have any bluebirds?
False water.
So we got the false water. Technically that's not, I mean, yeah, it works. It works.
Excuse me.
So, then you have your Crotalidae, which is going to be these guys, and Viperidae, which is your true vipers, but it's all broken up into these classes. And you have to have 1,000 hours with each class of animal with a professional. You have to be under a professional, and then you have to have that professional sign off on a letter so that you can get your own permits. So it is a long process, And people ask a lot of times why we do the things that we do, and quite frankly, it's just because we've been doing it for ever and a day.
I don't really
So
know how to do anything else.
I'm gonna let actually Tyler do the honors here.
What do you mean?
It's his only one.
You take him out of the cage, bro.
Right. So we got Rusty here. Rusty, I think he got this guy as a little tiny worm, right?
Yep.
You're gonna want to back up just a little bit so you don't
Now
die.
he's not really a little worm. He's kind of a big worm.
He's a big ass worm. Big worm!
Big worm.
So Rusty is a Malaysian king cobra, and there's a couple of differences because you got your Indo-Chinese, your actual Chinese, your Taiwanese, and Hainan, and all these other different localities of king cobra. And this guy right here, being Malaysian, he has more of an orange hue, and then it comes like down to like almost like a whip tail. And when I say that, I mean an actual like bull whip. It looks like a bull whip. So Rusty's actually very chill, and this is the largest venomous reptile on the face of the earth. Rusty's not yet, but he'll get there. So these guys can reach 18 feet long, and on top of that, different from most cobras, most cobras are in the nausea family. This guy is in its own specific family. It's called Ophiophagus hana. And essentially what that means is snake eater. This guy, much like king snakes, feeds on other snakes. Is Rusty eating snakes or is he eating rodents?
Snakes.
So Rusty is eating snakes like he should be. So for me, there's a lot of debate too on whether or not you should feed king cobras rodents and or snakes. Here in Florida, it's much easier to get snakes because we have the python problem. So we have even this guy behind us that does the python hunting, and he can get readily available snakes all the time. So it's a cleaner meal, it's leaner meat, but if you can get your king cobra to eat rodents and you don't have the ability to get snakes, it's perfectly fine. You just have to limit the amount of food intake, because the caloric intake from a rat and a snake is going to be two different things. So with Rusty here, get you there, back up. That's a good boys. That's a good boys, Rusty. So he's actually a really sweet snake. But people ask often, why free handle? And for me, I'll answer that question very easily. So with most of the stuff, we don't. We're going to be using tools, especially with the smaller vipers, things like that. We're going to be using gloves. We're going to be using tools. But for me, especially for a snake that is as long as these are and as big as they get, the control at the end of the hook with half an arm is almost damn near impossible. So for me, I feel much safer doing it.
It's more dangerous, honestly.
Yeah, because
Especially with a bigger snake.
well, here, I'll give you guys a little sneak peek. Tyler, show me your little nubbies. See that right there? That is from a very lucky bite from a king cobra. So he lost part of his finger. I'm sure you guys already know this, but if you don't, go check his channel out and you can actually see the video of said bite. But dealing with these guys with a hook, you just have to figure how big do you think Rusty is right now? Probably 10 feet?
Probably 10, 11 foot.
So you got 10, 11 feet, and then you got a giant snake. This guy's really calm, but let's say you get a wild one. It's going to be really difficult to control him with a hook. So you have a 5-foot hook, and you're trying to control a 10-foot snake in the middle of everything else, when it's actually just a little bit easier for me, especially, to deal with it just hands-on. And the reason for that is because it keeps me comfortable and it keeps me safe. Now, I don't recommend doing the stuff that we do. There's always a warning on Tyler's channel. Why do you want to come for my nuts, bro? Is it something about my nuts? What do you smell my nuts?
He wants to climb.
Smells like burn up there. smells like burn musk.
Why do your nuts smell like Burmese python?
I feel like you're just aiming for my nuts. Can we turn you around? See, move your camera up. You're gonna have to do it a lot faster than that. Here you go, Duff. Get it up there. You're not gonna hit it, are you?
Yeah.
You're too sweet.
No fear.
He just doesn't care. We're gonna pull out a king cobra in a second. It's gonna be his girlfriend, and she's gonna hood. So what happens is over time, because he's raised this guy from a little baby. Here, hold your little baby. Let me explain some stuff here. So, because he spent so much time with this guy, he really doesn't mind what's going on. Now, again, let me stress this with everything that I have in my baddie. Don't do this shit. It's that simple. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. You can lose your life like very easily. Tyler's lucky that he's still standing here right now, and it doesn't push him away from what we do, Because we love what we do and we don't blame the animal for anything that happens. Quite frankly, it's not their fault. It's our fault when we make a mistake. And anytime that we do make a mistake, oh, there you go, buds. There's a nice little hood for you. So anytime that something goes wrong and an accident happens, whose fault is it? It's fucking our fault. It's our fault every single time. It's not their fault. They're just doing what they're born and bred to do, to defend themselves. But as you can see, Rusty is completely sweet. This guy is like one of the most chill kings around right now. And why? It's because he's had him since a tiny little baby. So there is a sense of like quote unquote taming. But again, this isn't for me to push out to tell everybody to go ahead and free handle a snake. It's not the smartest idea ever. It does put you in danger, but for the larger species of snake, you got two recommendations. A, keep yourself safe the best way that you can, or B, just don't deal with it at all. And a lot of times if you see them at zoos and stuff, what they'll do is they'll have, so you can have a setup, you can have a king cobra, and Tyler could technically cut off half of this cage and then shift him over, close that door, and then deal with what he needs to deal with on the back end. But being is that he knows what he's doing, of course we're not going to go through that level. But for anybody out there that is trying to keep venomous, we can't tell you not to. It's not, it would be uncouth, I believe, for us to tell you not to do something that we're doing already. But if you wanted to, there are different ways that you can keep yourself safe. For us, this is how we keep ourselves safe. A lot of debate on it, a lot of bullshit that we get for it, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I need to do to stay alive. And quite frankly, Big Worm over here doesn't seem to mind. What are your thoughts on that there, big guy?
I'm right there with you, bro. I've always fucking hold them like this, man. It's the whole reason why I do what I do.
We get 50-50. So half the people do understand what's going on. Half the people do respect what we got going on. And we respect the wildlife for what it is and for what it can do. They're extremely dangerous. This is one of the most dangerous animals on the face of the earth. One of the only known snakes, aside from that big fucker over there, that can drop a full-grown Asian elephant in, is he coming this way? In a little less than 8 hours. So that's a lot of venom pumping out. And it's not that the venom is that toxic, it's just that the pure volume that these guys produce is absolutely astronomical. Being that it is the largest venomous snake ever. I'm gonna let you pull that one out.
I'm gonna let you pull that one out.
You do that.
She's a little more feisty.
I'll pull her when she gets out. I'll catch my breath first.
A little feisty. Feisty little firecracker.
So this one's, its name is Shithead.
Shatid.
Oh, Shatid.
I totally forgot. She's got 2 rats inside of her.
Alright, so we're not going to pull her out.
Yeah, you can see.
But you can see how feisty she is.
Comes jumping out the cage with her mouth wide open at you.
So here's a perfect example. So we got a snake eater and we got a rat eater. She's already eating rats?
She's got 2 rats inside of her right there.
So this actually works for me. So we're not going to pull her out because we don't want to stress her out. We definitely don't want her to regurge that meal. Anytime you have a snake that regurges, I don't care if it's healthy or not, you pose a big threat on that animal, because a regurge, number one, you got to stop feeding for like a month before you feed again. And then you always have complications after the regurge. So you never want them to have to go through that process. And if we pulled her out right now, 100% she has a chance of regurging. But if you look in the back end and scroll right in there to that thickening part of the back.
Yeah, she's nice and thick.
So what'd you feed?
She got 2 medium rats.
So you gotta think of it like this. The snake is about 8 feet.
I'm gonna try to feed her some like hatch like burms I've seen.
So we haven't even tried snakes yet, huh?
No, I just haven't been able to. My buddy's got him at his house. We gotta go pick him up.
So we're gonna see if she'll eat the snake. She might not, just because she's been raised on rodents. I think Mike Easter.
But I want to get her on
the snakes. Yeah. Well, it's nice to be able to have the choice, especially like we do here in Florida. But the best way to do it, this is a good example. So he's eating snakes, she's eating rats.
They're from the same clutch too, and you can see how much bigger he is.
Oh, he's a fucking giant. Dude.
Even though he's a male, males are obviously going to get bigger than the females, but
yeah, for sure. But
still, size comparison, growing. He's eating snakes his whole life. She's been eating rats her whole life.
And then you got to think of it like this too. A lot of people, when they feed these guys their rodents, they'll feed. They're thinking, okay, it eats a snake, so we'll tie a bunch of rodents together to equal a snake. I've seen it like 1,000 times. I've seen people literally tying the tails to the head and over and over and over, and they'll have like a line of like 5 to 10 rats. And quite frankly, just because it's as long as a snake doesn't mean it's the same caloric intake and the same fat in there and the same proteins. Yeah. So 2 medium rats versus a giant Burmese python, Whereas if he gets a big Burmese python, that thing may be like yay big that this thing's going to take down. So it looks bigger than the meal of the rat, but it's actually a much leaner meat. So it's better to feed on the smaller side of rodents if your king cobra's eating rodents. But that's a pretty good example of what we got going on here with the king cobras. And we're going to come back to Tyler Nolan's. We're going to do like a little mini tour later on. We're going to be back here tomorrow on his channel to treat these blue insularis over here. I don't know if you'll be able to see them. They're tucked in pretty good. Actually, there's one in the back. But we're going to come back here and treat those in the morning. So we're going to get rid of the nematodes. So go over to his channel to see that. We got a little bit of that today. So go to Tyler's channel, then come back to mine, then go back to Tyler's tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
And watch what we got going on. Boom.
Done.